I don't have live service fatigue. I have live service exhaustion. I am sick and tired of the live service slop that the industry feeds us. I know for a fact it's not just me. I know you're exhausted too. That's why you clicked on this video. Everywhere I look, there's a new, uninspired, lazy clone of Overwatch or Helldivers 2 that pops up. Just look at the disaster that was Concord. It barely lasted a couple of weeks before shutting down. And the only entertainment value we'll be getting out of Marathon is how badly it'll crash and burn once it comes out. Is this seriously the best the AAA industry can come up with? Aside from the unoriginal, tedious gameplay mechanics that are so prevalent in these live service games, one of the things that I hate the most about them is how exploitative these games are. They're literally designed to keep you hooked on one game and one game only. These publishers want your time, your money, your attention, all of it. And in this sea of live service games, how do they get people hooked on their game? The answer is simple: FOMO. And what's the best way to exploit FOMO? Limited time events. So that includes double XP, weekly item drops, daily login rewards, limited time shops, battle passes, and if they're desperate enough, they'll even do what Apex Legends did: remove the beloved mode, in this case, Arenas mode. Let the players beg for its return for years, and once the player numbers enter a free fall, reintroduce said mode as a limited time event. And the worst part, it works. How many times have you seen a developer or a publisher pull a move like this and the shills are like, oh my god, they're actually listening, thank you so much, huge W. It's a joke, a sad joke. But wait, it gets worse than that, trust me. The real atrocity is the fact that these live service games can shut down at any time. So guess what? Any time and money you sink into these games, it'll eventually be lost forever. Unfortunately for me, I had to learn this the hard way. When I was a kid, I was a huge fan of the NBA 2K games, and the one mode that I spent the most time on was My Career, which is pretty much a single player story mode for your character. Single player. That part is extremely important. Something that I always hated about 2K is the fact that the servers were shut down after just 2 years. They do this to pretty much force you into buying the newer games. If that wasn't already scummy enough, which by the way, it is. Wait until you hear this. Once the servers for that game shuts down, you lose everything. I'm not kidding. I found that out way back in NBA 2K16. I must have spent hundreds of hours grinding, boosting my character, and collecting as many accolades as I could. I didn't care for the newer releases like NBA 2K17 or 18 because they were complete trash in my opinion. Plus, 2K16 was one of my favorite games at the time, so I stuck with it. That was until 2K killed the servers and took my character with it. Hundreds and hundreds of hours worth of progress and single player vanished just like that. I was outraged. It was a slap in the face. I felt like an idiot, like I just got played. And I made sure to never make that mistake again. It was a complete and utter disregard of my time and money. And that's the problem with the live service games like this. They don't see you as a player and they barely consider you as a customer. They don't even want you to have ownership over your games. With incidents like this, it's no wonder why the Stop Killing Games movement has gained so much momentum over this past month. It's because people are getting sick of the nonsense. And when you realize that all of the major publishers do this, EA, Activision, Take-Two Interactive, you name it, use the same tactics, you quickly realize just how screwed the gaming industry is. It feels like you can't really do anything about it. You can't escape it. Seemingly every game is infected by this. And I already know that there's going to be some people out there who will run the classic line, if you don't like it, don't buy it. Okay, but here's the thing. I don't. I try my best to avoid as many of these live service titles as possible. But the problem here is that live service games are subsidized by casuals and whales, which gives these publishers more than enough incentive to crank out more of these titles. We've seen publishers scrap single player titles in favor of live service games. And while a lot, and I mean a lot of these titles flopped, they only really need one of them to be successful. Look at how massively successful Helldivers Helldivers 2 is. If it means a publisher can get a game even half as successful as Helldivers 2, they'll scrap 10 single-player projects without a second thought. Because once they strike gold, they can milk that cash cow for years and years. I mean, just look at GTA Online. That's perhaps the easiest example out there. Why do you think it took Rockstar well over a decade to release GTA 6? It's simply because they didn't have to make it. We could have been playing GTA 6 a long time ago, but because the online mode was so popular and so successful and raking in billions and billions of dollars, Rockstar simply chose to not prioritize it, at least not for a while. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I hate this model so much. Yeah, it's easy for me and maybe some of you guys watching this video to not buy any of these games, but the truth of the matter is that there are enough people out there to make this model so profitable, it negatively impacts the entire AAA industry and it impacts all of us. Most of these games aren't even free to play either. A lot of them cost just as much as a regular single player game up front, sometimes even more. I wish live service games weren't as dominant of a force in the industry. I know there are some people out there who complain that the market is being saturated with the number of Souls-likes that have been coming out recently, but honestly, if I had to pick one or the other, I'd much rather put up with Souls-likes like Lies of P. Because number one, those games are actually good, and number two, at least I can play them whenever I want. They're single-player games that don't require constant internet access. That's extremely important for me, and I don't feel pressured and overwhelmed with these slimy FOMO tactics. I don't feel like I have to fit a game into my schedule because there's this special event that gives you special rewards, and if you don't log in and grind for the next couple of hours in this specific time frame, you'll lose access to them forever. It's annoying enough when one game does it, but when multiple games do the same thing, it makes gaming feel like a chore. Like, come on man, just give me my linear single player game that I can dive into for a few hours, log off, and return when I feel like it. I am beyond tired of these live services. I know this is just a massive cope, but I really hope to see the day this live service trend finally dies off. But you guys know how it is. A horrible trend in the gaming industry dies, and an even worse trend immediately takes its place. Gamers just can't help but fund terrible anti-consumer business models for whatever reason. Don't believe me? Check out my last video.